Hello and welcome back to another episode of CharlaFootball. I'm your host, as always, Jerry. No Tomas today. We got Jonathan. He's back. It's been a minute since we had you on the pod, bro. Where you been?
Wow, man. I went to see the selección in Arizona.
Oh, you want to go
I'm
see
set.
the
I'm
shit
set.
house over there?
I bought my tickets a few months ago, just saying, or when they first came up on sale. But it was a fun experience. The fans really made the whole trip worth it. The
Yeah.
Ecuadorians were really lovely people. They were super cool. I met a lot of them. I also met Mexican fans from all over like the country, even around here, different states. So it was really fun, despite the outcome. I mean, we didn't lose, but
Hey,
we didn't
and
win
you were
either.
on TV. Don't forget you were on TV, bro. I
Oh, I got
saw
an
it.
interview for Metro Ecuador, but I don't think they used it because I used some profanity. But it's okay. It's okay. On
I
to
mean,
the
it's part of
next
the
one.
game, bro. Part of the game. I mean, we all
Part of
know what happened there. Obviously, now Venezuela we're into they're into the next because of what happened there. Venezuela are into the next round, and what we saw today, Venezuela versus Canada. I mean, Canada surprised everybody. I think nobody expected Canada to be in the position that they're at. Everyone thought it's going to be the US. Everyone thought it's going to be Mexico, but Canada's putting CONCACAF on the map. But before we get right into all the Copa America madness, make sure to follow Charla Football. Make sure to follow us on our personal pages as well: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff. Follow the page on Spotify, YouTube. Make sure you support your small creators because together we're going to make it big. But yeah, bro, Canada, Venezuela was the quarterfinal matchup today. Yesterday was 4th of July, so I didn't get to see Argentina versus Ecuador. I know you didn't really get to see it either, but we'll touch on that as well. And then moving forward, the semifinal matchups. But yeah, let's start with what happened today. Canada first 25 minutes were really good. Honestly, they played well, and kind of towards the end of the match too, they played well. They had their shaky moments because Venezuela obviously got desperate. They had to come back and react, obviously, but they shocked everybody. They got that early goal by Jacob Schaffelberg, and I mean, I don't want to say they held on to it, but overall, they kind of they didn't try to look for the second one, but they didn't defend either. I think it's just because Venezuela were just putting so much pressure on them.
Yeah, definitely. Once that second half started, we saw Venezuela come out much stronger than did the first half.
Hmm.
As the likes of we saw Rondon wanting the ball more, using his height, and also Soteldo being the smallest player on the field. We talked about this before, like off camera, how the
Hmm.
smallest player on the field is creating the most plays. I know like a lot of people have been criticizing the Copa America because they say it's a lot of kickball, not too much tactics going into it. But I mean, he was out there looking for the play. He was getting the ball, passing it, taking players on, using his body, shielding it, which is crazy. We probably saw it a lot in Tigres back in his days there. But
Hmm.
besides that, as a whole, the team was doing great. They were shooting. They wanted it. You could see that they clearly wanted a tie, and I think that was the only time we really saw them playing in that way. The first 20 to 25 minutes, Venezuela was on Canada the whole time. They were shooting, they were crossing, which is one thing they kept doing. That kind of like I can't say it irritated me because I wasn't supporting no teams, but as a football fan,
Yeah,
I'm like, shoot the ball. You guys are down a goal. Instead of
like
just
take
trying to
a
do
shot.
these crosses over and over, give me Antuna vibes, bro. Like, and fortunately for them, off one of those kickballs that everyone tends to hate on, Salomon Rondon uses his height and shows off the defender, and we saw probably, in my opinion, the goal of this tournament so far.
Yeah, no, I'm
And
gonna agree with you. I think it was the goal.
yeah, 35 yards out, Kreupel off his line. And
I
that's
mean,
that's
you compare that one to the other. I mean, what other best goals have we seen this tournament? Maybe the one Uruguay scored against. I forgot, it was top right by the Toluca player Maximiliano Rodriguez or Araujo, Maxi Araujo. I think he scored it
uh,
like top right. I forgot who were they playing against, but that one was really good too. But I mean,
there's
this
another
one,
one too. Paraguay when they played Costa Rica. Costa Rica beat them. We got the first two early goals, but that goal
mhm,
Paraguay scored,
mhm,
also a banger. But
was
that's the
banger.
thing. The tournament, there's not really goals or moments that are so like something to highlight or something that everyone's gonna remember. For example, I could name you like three goals in the Euros already
Yeah,
and things of that nature.
I feel like there's
But
just more hype around the Euros compared to Copa America for whatever reason. Maybe
definitely,
because it's played in the States and not a lot of people care about it over here. But I mean, there's also been a lot of questionable moments, obviously, here at the Copa America with, I mean, the size of the pitches, with the turf, with the time, the extra time that was eradicated. We're going straight to PKs, which obviously happened in this game after Venezuela did tie the game and Rondon had that beautiful, beautiful strike right over Kropo. Like we said, probably best goal of the tournament. It was just back and forth. back and forth CONMEBOL, typical CONCACAF, just shit housery. There was no real fluidity to the match. It was
No
just
build-ups, just
there was really
over.
nothing. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I
it
mean,
was.
that's the thing. Canada, they surprised me. Like even with like, I mean, hopefully Buchanan gets well soon. He broke his leg. Even without one of the most promising players, they still came out and showed the real fight. I really liked Jonathan David in that behind the striker position instead of just being up top the whole time. Because sometimes up top he's being man marked and he's one that likes to find his shot and create. I think this match he had more shots than he did the past two games.
Mm.
And also, what was the striker's name? Loon or
Kyle
something.
Larin.
Yeah, he was doing great. He had a few shots as well up top, but I mean, Canada had the chance to put it away many times. Not
Mm.
taking anything away from Romo, the Venezuela keeper. He made a lot of good saves towards the end, and fortunately for Canada, everything went their way in the end. I mean, but the penalty shootout, in my opinion, was probably like the most exciting part. Like they kept going back and forth, and I was like, "Dang, there's more going on here." But it also makes you think, okay, if this is how it was in the penalty shootout, what would happen in extra time?
Hmm.
Like as a
Yeah.
fan, you're there. You want to see more of these teams. You're not. It's not often you can go see. For I mean, for the fans in the states from the countries over there. Let's say you're a Venezuela fan here in the states, and it's not often you can go see Venezuela play in the quarterfinal again. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
You want to get the most out of the experience, obviously.
Exactly.
And
You don't know if Venezuela could have won in overtime or what the deal could have been, but hey, it's all said and
I
done now.
mean, we've seen a lot of things happen in overtime, especially or in extra time, especially in the Euros. A lot of late dramatic stuff going on. But I feel like
Yeah.
it's been completely eradicated from this tournament. I mean, the drama. Of course, there is a lot of suspense when it comes to penalties because, I mean, penalties is probably one of the hardest moments for a player because I mean you have over 50,000 eyes or more just staring at you like on one moment, so it can make or break you pretty much. So obviously there is a lot of pressure there, but I mean you need those extra 30 minutes because who knows what you can do. I mean on that time you don't have to get to that moment. You don't have to put all that pressure on yourself on your team because you have those extra 30 minutes, and unfortunately it's just been wiped away from this tournament, which is, I mean, it's kind of weird to see, honestly.
You also got
But
to think about like which players can shine in these next 30 minutes that you could possibly use in the next game because the starting player you already has a yellow card.
mhm,
Like it gives everybody a chance to shine. For example, we saw Conceição from Portugal come in. It was an extra time, but he still came in those last few minutes, and we saw him get a lot of game time today against France.
mhm.
So it's just those kinds of situations that as a football fan, like you kind of just have to grip with the advancement that these like federations are doing. But it kind of just makes you think like, what would have happened those extra 30 minutes? Would we have
Definitely.
got another possible goal of the tournament? Would Venezuela have gone through?
I think somebody else. I think we would have gotten the goal because by the way the game was being played, I think Canada probably would have scored because they looked a lot more likely to get the second goal than Venezuela get that second goal. To be honest,
Exactly. And
but I mean the penalties. What were you saying? My bad.
I was just say we see sometimes the best out of these players because their adrenaline is so high. Like, okay, the 90 minutes are up. We're doing really great. These next 15-minute halves, let's go all out, leave our hearts right there on the field, possibly avoid penalties, and that gives you the best out of the players. But I mean, like I said, once again, it's all said and done now. That's their rules. What can we do about it?
No, and unfortunately, I mean, it's not like we're seeing the highest level of penalties in the world either. I mean, we saw penalties this morning, Portugal, France. Those were world class penalty kick takers, penalty
Exactly.
kicks. I mean, you saw them putting in top left hand corner, top right hand corner, and then I mean, you come over here and you watch Canada, Venezuela go to PKs, and I mean, though they're not. They're
There's only
just
one player that the penalty stood on. Who was it?
Alfonso Davies, bro, and it's
Exactly.
because he plays in one of
Exactly.
the best clubs in the world, at Bayern Munich.
It just shows you the levels, man. It just shows you the
Yeah,
levels of.
definitely. I mean, even the likes of what's his name, Yangel Herrera,
Mhm.
he plays for Girona, going to be in Champions League. But the way he just fucked up his penalty. Sorry for my use of profanity, but I mean, he just completely fucked it up. I mean, didn't even wasn't near the post or anything. Just I don't know what he was trying to do there,
It just
but
completely missed the whole goal.
yeah, no, for real. And I mean, we saw that from Venezuela. They missed. I think they missed two. Canada missed one, or was it 2-2? I
I think they
forgot.
both missed too. I know
But
Maxime got his save, and then
yeah, they
the
got
Jan
to
Hernandez. Yeah,
they got to like the last like few instances of penalties, and then obviously Canada goes through because they secured their penalty. But now they're gonna face Argentina, who obviously yesterday they beat Ecuador in a, I don't want to say in a convincing fashion. It wasn't very
No,
convincing.
the
Ecuador,
Ecuador had so many chances to put it away at the end. Like they had,
yeah.
I think, two really like clear chances too, because obviously they got their goal in the 91st minute,
Mhm.
and with those still 4 minutes left in the end of the game, they were controlling everything. Argentina was sat back the whole time, and then there was one clear chance. I don't know who the player was. I forget who it was, but it was off a cross that Ecuador could have put it away, and just sent them home packing. But obviously in Argentina, they're a different machine when it comes to penalties. They have a lot of experience. They won the whole thing. Dibu, obviously, we all know
He's
what happens. And I mean, Messi missed his penalty, but he has his team behind him.
Yeah,
And
and that's what you need in a team like that where, I mean, if your best players, like how we saw with Ronaldo the other day, he's missed his penalty as well. When your best players aren't having their best moment or they fuck up for whatever reason, I mean, you need to have other world class players that can step up to that role as well. And we saw it today with Dibu Martinez, or yesterday, sorry, with Dibu Martinez. I mean, he stepped up, made a few great saves, and because of him, they're into the next round. And now they're going to face Canada. It's going to be a rematch of what we saw in the group stage. Hopefully, it's a better matchup
yeah,
because I
hopefully
mean,
a much better game. That first game was a bit of a sleeper. I mean, besides what Messi's assist at the end, he missed a few sitters as well. That game
mm,
kind of put it into perspective for me how this Copa America was gonna go, and it's
mhm.
literally been going exactly that way. Like Argentina won a scrappy matchup, a game they should have won a lot by, but not taking anything away from Canada. They played their part as well. But I mean, we're gonna see this rematch once again. Not hearing too much hype about it once again. I mean, you see the big Instagram accounts on. They just post a post on it. Okay, boom. But the Euros, they have so much hype. There's stories behind it. Tony Cruz he's done his last game. Cristiano Ronaldo his final Euros, and obviously those are big name players who aren't in like our region of the world, but still like they built these reputations with their clubs. Like, I mean, who do we have here? Messi, a few Argentinian players,
Here
James,
in Copa
like
America, specific James, yeah, Luis Diaz,
at least Diaz. But those players,
Luis
he still
Suarez.
has a lot more to go. But I mean, the Euros just get that excitement going. Here, I mean, we've never been a country known sufficiently for loving our soccer here,
Mm,
but still, we try. You see the FIFA giving us these tournaments, and I'm just hoping by the time the World Cup, I know the World Cup's a whole different animal. It's everything into one pot. But this whole Copa America thing, if it's the last time they do it here, then let it be. Because even in 2016, there's probably more hype for that one than there is for this one, the
yeah,
Centenario. And I mean, I know Messi was a little bit higher in his peak. He was still in his Barca days, and we obviously that free kick against Brad Guzan was
I remember
crazy.
that one.
But that one had way more hype than this Copa America, and like the fact that it's already the semifinal, it's like a lot of people probably don't even know. Like, holy crap, it's already the semifinal. Okay, like that's crazy. Like, but I mean, I think the part that's missing is more teams. Not having a round of 16 really hurts everything.
Yeah,
Just how quick they jump into the quarterfinals, how quick they just go into penalties after extra time. It feels to me like as if the CONMEBOL is just trying to rush this tournament out the way. Okay, let's just get it done. Let's give the U.S. their Copa America and get out of here. Crown
hmm,
their next player or whatever. On to the next one. And to us as football fans, it hurts because it doesn't hurt, but it hurts our reputation as fans here in the U.S. because there's no buildup. It's so easy to say. Even the 2015 one in Chile, they didn't have the nicest fields. They didn't have the best quality. I mean, I remember a lot of their games looking like green, like when Messi, like I think that's the first final he lost against Chile,
yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
2015. It was still like uplifting, made you want to watch it. This one, I was tuning in to even today, the Canada game, there's not much going on. Like we were talking about earlier, it was a lot of crosses, kick ball. Let's just kick it up. Hopefully he wins it in the air because he's like 6'4",
Very
Rondon.
direct play. Yeah, very
Yeah.
direct.
Compared to like the Euros where we saw like that Spain goal by Mikel Moreno, it was just touch, 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 cross from a defender and then header. Game's
Mm,
over. Like that was a beautiful goal, beautiful setup play, and unfortunately, it's not the style we get here in Conmebol. I mean, it hasn't always been like that. Statistically, the best players have come out of Brazil, Argentina. Like it's a whole different conversation. But I mean, it's just a time in life where European soccer is more attractive
yeah.
here.
Overall, it is. Yeah, overall, it is. The style is
Exactly.
just attractive. I wouldn't say. I mean, if you go by national teams, I'm sure there's like
We
we
have
are Argentina.
good players from everywhere. Yeah,
Mhm.
but
Now, sorry,
that
go
was it.
go.
That was it. That was it.
Nah, my
I can
boy.
rap all day, bro. I don't even want to get.
I was like, you going on a
I,
little rant there. You did not like what you've been seeing.
Just bring the
But
final already, man.
it's true. I mean, I do agree with your point where you're saying it feels a little rushed. I can see that too. Like we already talked about those extra 30 minutes. Like why can't we get that? It provides a little bit more of a spectacle. It provides a little bit more time. I mean, and if you're talking about a federation where you need money, like CONMEBOL or CONCACAF, I mean, with those extra 30 minutes, you get more screen time, more people paying attention to their screens, and that's more money for you, more space for ads in a marketing perspective. So I don't know. If you're rushing everything, obviously there's gonna be some mistakes, and I think they are they aren't taking full advantage of what we have in front of them. One of the most historic tournaments like the Copa America here in the States, and you're not taking the full cup, you're not taking it like fully, basically. I don't know how
In
to
my
explain it.
idea, in my eyes, bro, this tournament is just a warm up for the World Cup. Let's just
Mhm.
have it out there, see how things work out, and what can we tweak to fix things in 2 years. That's
I
literally
hope they really do fix things, bro.
yeah.
Because I mean, what we've seen, if I hope the World Cup isn't like this, because I mean, the World Cup is the most prestigious tournament in the world, or the best tournament in the world. There's no comparison, and the last thing we need is for the states to tarnish it, or for all the Americas to tarnish it.
We don't need another 2002 South Korea thing going on. Let's
Yeah,
have something nice, something fun. The last few World Cups, I mean, even the Qatar one had a lot of like
we
backlash,
had to
but
keep
we're gonna have to
normal.
get into that. But it's a whole different thing, whole different format, way more teams, three different countries. Mexico's gonna have their tournament. I mean, they're part of it. Canada
Mhm.
is as well. So I guess we could just say in 2 years, we don't know how the teams are gonna be either. A lot of changes in 2 years. And see that jersey behind you, Mexico. Just gotta hope for the best, man. Just gotta hope for the best. That's that. I don't even want to get into them, but just hope for the best, man.
No, I definitely want to make a video about the whole Mexico problems, but that's gonna be for the future after the
Yeah, we'll,
international.
we'll, we'll tap back in that and bring Tomas, the expert, too, for that. So
Yeah, all of us. When we got to get all of our input on that for sure. But now, like I said, going to Argentina, Canada. I just want to get your prediction real quick. Who do you think's gonna go through?
well, most everyone's gonna say Argentina. I say Argentina as well. Experience, their
Yeah,
likeness, the better players, but it's not gonna be an easy game for them. It's a
I
semifinal. It's kind of that the first game they struggled a bit too. Obviously they won 2-0, but they were up 1-0 most of the game. And was it the assist that Messi got at the end to Lautaro Martinez, I believe it was, or Julian? It was Lautaro, right?
Lautaro.
Yeah, and it was 2-0, and Canada still showed a lot of resilience. Like, you can't forget that. These Canadian players, they have good players. Obviously, the likes of Alfonso Davies, Jonathan David, just a lot. The midfielder from Porto. But besides that, my prediction, I say 1-0. It's going to
1-0.
be a scrappy 1-0 win. Who knows? They might go out there and batter them 5-0. But I mean, me, myself, right now, the way things are looking, the way this tournament has been going, I said Argentina will win 1-0.
I mean, Argentina were a little iffy yesterday. Canada looked a lot better yesterday. I'm sure they look better than what we saw in the opening match of the Copa America. And they've already played each other, so they have a little bit of experience having already played each other as well. So they know what to do moving forward into the game. But I'm probably gonna go to Argentina too. Maybe another 2-0. Because I
2-0.
mean, Argentina have too much talent and too much quality compared to Canada. While they do have good players, it's not going to be enough for sure. So I'm going to go Argentina. Now
We'll
on the
score.
other side,
We'll
who am I
score.
gonna- I'm going to go Messi gets his goal and Lautaro as well.
Lautaro. For my
Yeah,
1-0, I say Julian Alvarez
Julian Alvarez off the bench.
off the bench. Because, dude, this guy came in off the bench yesterday against Ecuador, and he had, like, more shots on target than Lautaro did the whole game. But, I
Mhm.
mean, we'll see. We'll see.
Now on the other side of the bracket, we had Brazil, Colombia. We didn't really get to talk about it because it was the end of the group, and I mean there was a lot of stuff going on between the few days. But they tied 1-1. Now Brazil, obviously second. Colombia goes in the first. Colombia is going to face Panama moving forward, so that's going to be an interesting matchup. I think that's going to be going on tomorrow, and then Brazil takes on Uruguay. So both games are going to be going on tomorrow. Um, I just wanted to talk about the Brazil Colombia game real quick, just because I mean this was Brazil's game for them to go up top. If they get that 1-0 result, they could have been top of the group, avoid Uruguay, because I'm sure both teams wanted to avoid Uruguay because there's no doubt and no denying that Uruguay is the best team at the tournament right now. I think slightly above Colombia. They look pretty much even.
No, I agree. Uruguay, like we were talking about this before, Uruguay is set. They have that perfect midfield. They have a great attack force, defense, and they don't lack anything. Every game they came out, they've been looking dominant. Even though against the U.S., they didn't play the best game, they did what they had to do. Obviously, a lot of controversies there, But I mean, they're still. I mean, they already had their qualification through. It was
Mhm.
more of a comfortable game for them, more of a okay, let's sit back and just eliminate these Yanks, you know. But besides that, going back a little bit to your Brazil Colombia game, yeah, like you said, Brazil, if they really wanted to show the world, like, okay, we're the 5-star World Cup, 5-star, 5-time World Cup winners for a reason, like, we have that behind us. It kind of made me think a little bit watching this game about Ronaldinho's statement about the team, how they don't really have that, I guess, passion for the shirt. They don't really want to grind out there and that chemistry, I guess you can say. And it's true. I mean, I was watching the game. I didn't watch the whole thing, but maybe from the second half forward, I think Vini was on 90 minutes and he only touched the ball like 3 or 4 times, bro. He wasn't really, they weren't really much of a threat. It was
Mhm.
mostly Colombia the whole time, which didn't take me by surprise because they've been doing amazing this whole tournament. I think before, if we can go back to our old podcast, we all thought that they were going to do pretty well. I think you chose them to be your winner, was it? I think it was Colombia.
I don't know if I chose him to be a winner, but for sure dark horse. I think I chose
Yeah.
Argentina to be a winner because I still think
Okay.
Argentina is gonna
Yeah, see, I had chosen Brazil, and that was just lack of seeing their previous matches and just going by the history. But I'm obviously the history books don't play games in these tournaments no more. And
win.
like I said, Colombia looked really strong. Like, was it Borja? What's his name? The striker.
Borre, yeah,
Yeah,
Borre,
he had his chance at the end, really clear chance. Unfortunately, he couldn't put it away. But I mean, everybody walked away seeing that Colombia was a better team.
yeah.
So
And moving forward, obviously, I mean, they're going to face Panama. I'm not saying that's a walk in the park for them, but Panama, they've shown resilience. They played Uruguay, they lost 3-1. They had their moments where they were pretty good, but I mean, Colombia, I think it's their game to win for sure. Now, Brazil is going to face Uruguay, and that's the game's going to be really difficult for both teams. Obviously, Brazil is not a team to take lightly. We've already seen that before, but Uruguay, like we said, they're just too good. I think Uruguay will get the better of Brazil unless Rodrigo steps up or Endrick or Rafinha or Savinho step up. But
yeah,
you don't have Benny in this matchup because he's accumulated too many yellow cards. So they lost their star player, even though he hasn't stepped up this tournament
yeah.
either.
Well, regardless of losing their player, like that's one thing about Brazil that they don't have a set starting 11. Every game we're seeing different players. We're seeing Rodrigo up top. We're seeing Vini up top. We're seeing Savio come in. We're seeing Paqueta get subbed off early. We're seeing Gomez get subbed off early. Just different changes where it's like if you want to win these games, you got to have a set team that
Mhm.
knows exactly their tweaks, their little passes, exactly the way they want to play,
You gotta
because
have
that's
that
the reason.
chemistry.
Exactly, that's the reason why you're getting these results. Like Uruguay has this set team every game. I believe they have obviously Nunez up top and Valverde, who didn't play any of the previous like warm up matches, but starting the tournament, he came in and he was comfortable. Like
Mhm.
he knows that they had his position ready. Obviously, he plays for Real Madrid, and that's just two players out of the team. Like they're set. They have their stuff. They're not lacking anything. I obviously favor Uruguay. If I had to give a prediction, I say Uruguay wins 2-0. 2-0.
I can see that too, or maybe even a 2-1. But not for sure. Uruguay, they have the path set up for them to go to the final. Obviously, it's gonna what we're predicting is a Colombia Uruguay matchup, which we would have liked to see in the final. At least me, I would have liked to see that in the
Yeah,
final. But I mean, semifinal, obviously a really good matchup. Definitely the tougher side of the bracket is on this side where Colombia, Uruguay, Brazil are compared to Argentina. People say that they got the easy side or that Conmebol kind of bailed them out. A lot of theories right there. A lot of people just saying it's corruption, whatever. But it's just, I mean, you can only play what's in front of you at the end of the day. And Canada's not going to be an easy game for Argentina, and Colombia Uruguay is not going to be an easy game. Colombia Panama is not going to be an easy game. Brazil Uruguay is not going to be an easy game. All these games are going to be difficult once you get to the latter stages of the tournament because once you're here, it's because you're there for a reason, obviously.
yeah.
But I mean, overall, that kind of wraps up what we've kind of missed out on Copa America and what we just saw today. Venezuela, sorry, you guys had a wonderful run. A lot of people had you as dark horses. I didn't. So, I mean, we'll see you guys in the next round or in the next World Cup. Overall, good luck to Canada. I hope they put CONCACAF on the map because I mean that's all we really have unless Panama have some sort of surprise tomorrow. But Canada, you got to make CONCACAF proud for sure. And Jonathan, thank you so much for helping me out on the pod. Let's try to keep it a little short today. But make sure you guys follow CharlaFootball. Make sure you follow our personal pages as well. Make sure to follow on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. Help us get to at least 5K by the end of, let's say, where we at right now? We're in July. At the
The end
end
of the
of
month, bro. The end of the month. Let's shoot for that. Let's shoot for the
yeah,
stars.
all right. By the
Why
end of
not?
the month, try to get to 5K. And I want to get more followers on YouTube, more followers on Spotify. Let's get those streaming numbers up. Let's really build Charla Football and really get this shit going. But anyways, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Jonathan, again, for all your help. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.